Imagine a young black man in 1960s America, a country still divided by race, still bruised by segregation, standing in front of the entire world and saying, "I am the greatest of all time," not whispering it, not hoping it, declaring it. That man didn't just change boxing, he changed the world, and this is a story. January 17, 1942, Louisville, Kentucky. Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. enters the world, and from day one, the world would never be the same. He was born to Cassius Clay Sr., a sign and mural painter with a gift for words, and Odessa Grady Clay, a domestic worker whose warmth and grace quietly shaped the man her son would become. The family wasn't rich. They knew what it felt like to stretch a dollar until it begged for mercy. They lived in a mother's home in the west end of Louisville, a predominantly black neighborhood where dignity was worn like armor, because the world outside didn't always grant it freely. From a young age, Cassius was restless, loud, magnetic. His mother once said he never stopped talking, even as a toddler. His father, a deeply artistic man who carried both talent and demons, filled the house with stories and songs. Cassius was 12 years old when someone stole his bicycle, his prized red and white Schwinn. He was furious, crying, and he told a police officer named Joe Martin that he wanted to whoop whoever took it. Martin looked at the skinny, angry kid and said, "Well, you better learn how to fight first." Joe Martin also happened to run a boxing gym in the basement of the Columbia Auditorium. Cassius Clay walked in, and boxing never remained the same. From the very first session, something was different about this kid. He didn't fight like other boys his age. He moved, he danced, while other kids planted their feet and swung wildly. Cassius floated around the ring like gravity didn't apply to him. His hands were fast, impossibly fast. He trained obsessively, 6 days a week. He'd run miles before school while other kids were still sleeping. He wasn't just working hard, he was obsessed with being the best. By 16, he had already won multiple Golden Glove titles. By 18, he was representing the United States at the 1960 Rome Olympics. He won the gold medal in the light heavyweight division, but what happened next is something not many people know. The story goes, and Ali told it himself, that when he returned to Louisville with the gold medal hanging around his neck, he walked into a restaurant in his hometown and was refused service because he was black. He, the Olympic champion of the United States of America, was turned away at the door. Some versions of the story say he threw the medal into the Ohio River in disgust. Whether entirely literal or not, the symbolism is devastating. That moment planted the seed of righteous anger that would define the next 6 decades of his life. He turned professional in October 1960, and he brought something boxing had never quite seen before: theater. Cassius Clay didn't just fight opponents, he performed them. He wrote poems predicting what round he'd knock them out. He showed up at press conferences and talked trash so flamboyantly that reporters didn't know whether to be offended or entertained. Usually they were both. He called Sonny Liston, the terrifying, hulking, mob-centered heavyweight champion of the world, a big, ugly bear. Liston had knocked out Floyd Patterson twice in the first round. Most people thought Cassius Clay was either suicidal or delusional. The odds were 7-1 against him. The fight was February 25, 1964, Miami Beach Convention Center. He didn't just survive, he dismantled Sonny Liston so thoroughly that Liston refused to come out for the 7th round. Cassius Clay stood in the center of the ring screaming at the press row, "I shook up the world. I am the greatest thing that ever lived. I don't have a mark on my face." It was one of the greatest moments in the sport's history, and then everything changed. Morning after beating Liston, Cassius Clay made an announcement that would divide the country. He revealed that he was a member of the Nation of Islam and then rejected the name Cassius Clay, calling it his slave name, announcing he would be known as Muhammad Ali. The reaction was volcanic. The boxing establishment refused to call him by his new name. The press mocked him. The FBI opened the file on him. America in 1964 was deeply uncomfortable with a young black man, a famous young black man, aligning himself with a movement that didn't ask for equality politely but demanded it forcefully. Ali didn't flinch. He defended his title against Liston in a rematch, ending it with a first-round knockout so fast that half the crowd didn't even see the punch, later dubbed the Phantom Punch. He defended his title again and again and again. Muhammad Ali was becoming not just the heavyweight champion of the world, but one of the most recognizable and controversial human beings on the planet. And then came the moment that would cost him everything and make him immortal. April 28, 1967, Muhammad Ali refused to be inducted into the United States Army. The Vietnam War was raging. Ali had been drafted. He could have served in a non-combat role, performed exhibitions for troops, done what other celebrity athletes had done. It would have been easy, safe, career-saving. He said no. His reasoning was not cowardice, it was conviction. I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong, he said. No Viet Cong ever called me nigger. Those words hit America like a thunderbolt. The Boxing Commission stripped him of his heavyweight title. His passport was confiscated. He was barred from fighting in every state in America. He was convicted of draft evasion and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Though he appealed and never served term, the Supreme Court unanimously overturning his conviction in 1971. For 3.5 years, Muhammad Ali was banned from boxing. In the prime of his career, ages 25 to 28, he fought no professional fights, he lost millions in income, he lost the title he'd worked for his entire life, he faced genuine prison time and he didn't blink. He later said it was a decision he was most proud of in his entire life. He came back in October 1970, 3.5 years gone. His legs weren't quite as fast, the float has lost a little air, but the heart, that was larger than ever. But waiting for him was Joe Frazier, Smoking Joe, a compact, relentless left hook machine who had claimed the heavyweight title in Ali's absence. The fight was billed as the fight of the century. Frank Sinatra was there as a photographer. It was that big. March 8, 1971, Madison Square Garden, both men undefeated. Frazier won by unanimous decision. He knocked Ali down in the 15th round with a vicious left hook. Ali got up, because of course he did. He lost the fight, but he lost it on his feet. In losing, Ali showed the world something that winning couldn't have. That he was made of something beyond talent, something beyond speed and reflexes. He was made of will. What followed in the early 1970s was a stretch of boxing that reads like mythology. Ali reclaimed the heavyweight title in March 1973, only to shockingly lose it to Ken Norton, who broke Ali's jaw in the second round. Ali fought on for 12 rounds with a fractured jaw and still nearly won. He took the rematch from Norton. He beat Frazier in a non-title fight in 1974. Then came the fight many consider the greatest single sporting event of the 20th century. October 30th, 1974, Kinshasa, Zaire. The Rumble in the Jungle. George Foreman had demolished the two men who had given Ali his toughest night. Nobody gave Ali a serious chance. And then Ali invented the rope-a-dope. He went to the ropes and let Foreman punch him round after round, covering up, absorbing the blows, letting Foreman exhaust himself swinging at his arms and body, all while talking to Foreman. "That's all you got, George? They told me you could punch." By the 8th round, Foreman was gasping. His arms were lead. Ali came off the ropes and hit him with a combination so sharp, so perfectly timed, that Foreman went down and couldn't get up before 10. Muhammad Ali was heavyweight champion of the world again. October 1st, 1975, Manila, Philippines. The thriller in Manila, Ali vs. Frazier, the third and final chapter. For 14 rounds, these two men waged a war that left both of them broken. Ali said afterward it was the closest thing to death he'd ever experienced. Frazier's trainer stopped the fight before the 15th round. Ali won, but watching that fight, it's hard to call anyone the loser. Here's something documentaries often gloss over. Muhammad Ali was a deeply complicated man to love. He was married 4 times. His first wife was Sonja Roy, whom he married in 1964, just weeks after meeting her. It was passionate, fast, and ultimately doomed. Sonja wasn't willing to conform to the strict religious lifestyle the Nation of Islam required, and the marriage ended in 1966. His second marriage in 1967 was to Belinda Boyd, a devout Muslim who took the name Khalila Ali. They had 4 children, Miriam, Rashida, Jamila, and Muhammad Ali Jr. Belinda was strong, patient, and deeply loyal. But Ali's chronic infidelity eroded the marriage. They divorced in 1977. Veronica Posh became his third wife in 1977. They had 2 daughters, Hannah and Laila. Yes, that Laila who grew up to become a world champion boxer herself. They divorced in 1986. His fourth and final wife was Lonnie Williams, a woman who had known Ali since she was a child, growing up near his family in Louisville. They married in 1986. As Ali's health deteriorated from Parkinson's, Lonnie became his fiercest advocate, caretaker, business partner, and by all accounts, his truest companion. Ali had a total of 9 children. His daughter Laila retired undefeated as a boxer with a record of 24-0 and 21 knockouts. Father and daughter eventually appeared together publicly, Ali beaming with unmistakable pride. Here's the tragic truth that no amount of legend can soften. Ali fought too long. By the late 1970s, he had already started showing subtle signs of neurological damage. His trainers saw it, his doctors urged retirement, but Ali kept fighting. In 1980, he came out of retirement to fight Larry Holmes, a former sparring partner who by then was a dominant heavyweight champion. Holmes, who genuinely loved Ali, begged him not to take the fight. What happened in the ring was painful to watch. Holmes hit Ali at will. It was stopped in the 11th round. One more fight came in 1981, a loss to Trevor Bebrick, and then, mercifully, Ali walked away for good. His professional record: 56 wins, 37 knockouts, 5 losses. In 1984, at age 42, Muhammad Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's syndrome, a neurological condition almost certainly worsened by the repeated blows absorbed over decades of boxing. His once thunderous voice became a whisper. His hands trembled. The man who had floated like a butterfly now moved with painful deliberateness. He never complained publicly. He never expressed self-pity. He bore it with grace. In 1996, he lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta, his trembling hands raising the flame as an entire stadium held its breath and then wept. World eventually caught up to what Muhammad Ali had always known about himself. In 1990, Sports Illustrated named him Sportsman of the Century, the BBC named him Sports Personality of the Century, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor, from President George W. Bush in 2005. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. He received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of his spoken word recordings and cultural impact. He was named a United Nations Messenger of Peace in 1998. The Ring magazine named him the greatest heavyweight of all time. ESPN named him the greatest athlete of the 20th century. He received honorary degrees from universities around the world and met virtually every head of state of his generation. He became a humanitarian of extraordinary reach, traveling to conflict zones, negotiating the release of hostages in Iraq in 1990, working with UNICEF, and dedicating enormous time and resources to causes that never made headlines. The Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky opened in 2005, a museum and cultural center dedicated to the values he lived: respect, confidence, conviction, dedication, giving, and spirituality. Muhammad Ali was admitted to a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona on June 2, 2016 with a respiratory complication. He died on June 3, 2016. He was 74 years old. The tributes poured in from every corner of the earth. Barack Obama released a statement: Muhammad Ali was the greatest, period. His funeral in Louisville drew tens of thousands into the streets. Will Smith spoke. Bill Clinton called him a man who gave us a different and more beautiful view of what we could become. His body was carried through the streets of Louisville. Thousands lined on the roads. Some threw flowers, some wept silently, some raised their fists. The city that once refused him a meal after he won an Olympic gold medal stopped everything to say goodbye to its greatest son. He was not just a boxer. He was not just an athlete. He was a full, complicated, flawed, magnificent human being who refused at every turn, at every cost, to be anything less than exactly who he was. He was a man who talked more than anyone thought was dignified and backed up every single word. He was a man who gave up the prime years of his career, years he could never get back, rather than fight a war he believed was wrong. He was a man who walked into rooms where people wanted to diminish him and left those rooms having enlarged everyone in them. He was a man who trembled from Parkinson's disease but never trembled in his convictions. Muhammad Ali told us he was the greatest. We laughed, we argued, we tested him, and then the world admitted what he knew all along. He was right. This is the story of Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time. If you enjoyed this story, like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our next inspiring story. At Road to Fame, we tell the stories of people who rose, fell, and rose again. Stay inspired.